Winning more fights in Fortnite is way easier than you think, and it's actually not just all about mechanics. You need to be using these fundamental tips if you want to win fights consistently and dominate just like the pros. Now before we dive into in-game scenarios, the first thing I want to cover is edit on release. A lot of people like to debate whether or not the setting is better on or off, but it honestly all depends on your playstyle. The biggest problem with having this option on is it makes it really difficult to take peeks efficiently. When taking peeks like this one, for example, whenever you go to hide behind the wall when you make this edit, you're forced to look up into the corner. However, when edit on release is turned off, you can look anywhere you please without accidentally selecting tiles when making peeks. The reason why this is so important is because you should always make sure that you have your opponent in the line of sight with your crosshair. When looking up in this corner, I have no idea where my opponent is, which means he could be anywhere in this box or even possibly have left it already. But when I'm able to look wherever I want, I'm able to see exactly where the opponent is, and I'm prepared to shoot them after I make the edit. Now I understand that a lot of you want to keep edit on release turned on, but I encourage you to consider turning it off. At the end of the day, multiple pros use both different settings, and you can still become a very good fighter regardless of your choice. Okay, now that that's out of the way, the first thing that you need to learn to start winning more fights is peeks and how to use them properly. The two most common peeks that people like to use is this one right here, aka the peanut butter edit, and then also the window peek. Now the biggest mistake when a lot of players use these peeks is they make the edit whenever their body is still exposed. The only time that this is acceptable is when you know for sure that your opponent's not really prepared to shoot you. However, 9 times out of 10, your opponent is going to be waiting for you to make that edit so that they can try to get a shot off on you before you can pull your shotgun out, so you need to make sure that your body is completely covered before you confirm. That's exactly why these two peeks are so popular, because you can get some nice shots off without your opponent even really seeing you sometimes. Just make sure that whenever you're using these, you're always taking a right hand peek. Next, you need to learn how to properly push a box. The last thing that you want to do is push a wall head on with your pickaxe, because your opponent will just edit the wall and pump you in your mouth. Instead, you should be trying to push their box from a right hand peek at a diagonal. If you attack from a diagonal instead, you're in a really safe position to take walls, and you have lots of good options for piece control. I find that the best way to take walls from this position is to do a peanut butter edit and shoot up the corner of their wall. Another solid option is editing the wall like this, and then you can pickaxe it from the side while still being protected. Now, if you decide to attack from the left side, you need to be super careful because the opponent can almost always see you from this angle. I catch a lot of people doing that whenever they're trying to fight me, so just look out for that because you can almost always take advantage of it. The next time that you get into a fight, just try to remember the concept of the diagonal push because it'll give you a way higher chance of winning. Also, whenever you're attacking somebody's box, try your best to limit the options that they have. Specifically, what I mean by that is pre-piecing. For example, before you start attacking the box on this side to take their wall, you should pre-piece on the other side as well. Whenever you give your opponent less options, they become way more predictable. So if I know that they're not going to come out of either of these sides, I'm going to wait for them to try to expand their box, and then I'm going to jump up top, come over to the other side, and then pre-piece them there. And if you're having trouble taking their wall, try to swing your pickaxe on multiple different builds of their box. Almost every single time it's going to confuse them, and they're not going to be sure which wall you're going to actually take or if you're going to take their cone above them. Okay, next we're going to talk about pickaxe baiting and edit baiting. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know what pickaxe baiting is. It's just whenever you swing your pickaxe, but you don't actually hit the wall and you're trying to bait them to make the edit so that you can shoot them. However, edit baiting is best used whenever you know your opponent is waiting for you to make an edit so that they can pre-fire you. So how this works is you make an edit with you standing in front of it wide in the open so that your opponent thinks that they can shoot you. Immediately after you make that edit, you need to reset it. You're going to wait for your opponent to shoot. Whenever they shoot, they're going to shoot your wall because you reset it already. It's going to break your wall, and then you're going to pre-fire them off of that and then replace your wall. Dude, I promise you this works almost every single time. And I'll be honest, I fall for it too, even though I use it in every fight. However, there is a way to counter it, which you're gonna want to learn because people like to use this move all the time since it's so effective. And it's as simple as just placing your wall after you try to shoot them after they make the edit. Sometimes people try to do this, but they don't reset it quick enough and you can actually get a shot off. Just make sure that you're holding your wall out so that you get that wall and they don't get their wall back. And since I'm already kind of on the topic of pre-fires, I want to talk about how important it is that you learn how to pre-fire effectively. It's the best way to get rid of SMG spammers, but it takes a lot of time to perfect the timing. So you're going to want to practice these using this map code on your screen right now. Eventually, you're going to start to realize exactly the moment that the wall is about to break, and you can pre-fire them to get some damage off. And if you find yourself on the other side of this situation and somebody's trying to pre-fire you, then the best thing to do is get the wall down to one hit and then pickaxe bait on the last swing so that they shoot their own wall, and then when it breaks, you take possession of that wall. Okay, now the last thing that I want to cover is what I call exit baiting. Before I explain how to exit bait, I understand that this is a lot of information to take in at once, and you're probably not going to remember half of it. So I suggest that you save this video so that you can come back to it while you play. Alright, so exit baiting is whenever you bait your opponent into thinking that you're about to leave your box, but instead you hold your position and make an edit to get shots off. This is kind of a ballsy play, but if you know that your opponent is super reactive and you can guarantee that they're going to fall for it, then it's one of the best plays that you can make. The best two variations of this move is baiting an exit from the floor in a cone above you, or baiting an exit from a wall on your side. If you choose to bait from above, then the best thing to do is place a stair and then edit that floor in a cone above you, and then you can flip that stair backwards and then edit out the wall in front of you to get a shot off when they're not looking. And if you want to bait from one of the walls beside you instead, then it's the same concept. The reason why this works so well is because typically whenever you edit in a direction that's not facing the opponent almost always tends to think that you're going to make an exit from that point, and that's super easy to take advantage of when they're trying to trap somebody that's not even there. Now, if you're somebody who's trying to improve your overall Fortnite skill, whether that be your builds, your mechanics, or your edits, then I highly suggest that you check out the multiple videos that I made teaching you guys exactly how you can improve on each of those. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you found this useful at all, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to support me even further, use code EXR in the item shop. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.